Hey guys, welcome back to A Page in the Chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige. I like to read a lot of books. I like to talk about them on the internet with varying levels of success. Today we are going to be doing my February wrap up because we are finally out of February. January, February are the worst months of the year for me. I just feel like they're really dark and horrible and awful, but March is where things start to get a little bit brighter, the days last a little bit longer, life is just a tiny bit better, and I'm very excited to share with you my reading. So if you like my wrap-ups and you want to stick around and see more of them, do please hit that big red subscribe button down below. I try to post twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, but it's been mostly Friday uploads right now. Things are just a little bit chaotic in my life and I want to make sure that at the very least I'm giving you regular content once a week. So that's my priority rather than trying to manage everything else that I have on my plate and kind of failing at it. So I upload regularly and that is all you need to know. So if you want to stick around, do please hit the subscribe button, and I have a whole playlist of other wrap-ups that you guys can go and check out. I know that I love these videos, they are the ones I watch the most on BookTube, so if you're like me, I've put together a whole playlist for you. And now I will stop rambling on and we can talk about all of the books I read in February. So in the month of February I only read 5 books, which is kind of impressive given how slumpy and just mentally awful I felt in the month of February. My reading has just majorly taken a dip and I kind of expected it to happen. I'm just really struggling to find books that I want to read. However, that being said, I did have a very good reading month in terms of the ratings. I'm pretty sure I gave like almost everything I read in the month of February 4 stars. So I guess it was kind of a win. 5 books that were all 4 stars is better than like 11 books that I hated. So the first book that I read in February was A Curse so Dark and Lonely. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling where our main character Harper has cerebral palsy, and in her real life, the modern world, everyone is kind of trying to protect her and won't really let her do anything, and then she's kind of sucked into this fairy tale world that's like an alternative universe kind of thing, and she basically becomes this badass warrior princess, and I love her for it. And what I really liked about this book is it's a romance, obviously, because it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but this book is so much more just about them building trust and friendship, and it has much more of a fantasy element than I expected it to, because most of the time retellings just like focus on the romance, and this focused a lot more on like world politics and war than I expected it to, and I really enjoyed it. I gave this a 4 star and I cannot wait to read the next one. I have it on my shelf. I've just not been in the mood for sequels lately. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where this is going. I have a feeling it might have a love triangle, which is gonna let me down, but at least because this was focused on building friendship and not her like becoming deeply and madly in love with him, if she does become interested in another guy, it probably won't annoy me as much. The next book that I read is Heartstopper Volume 2. I am trying to work my way through these very slowly because when I buy them, I read them straight away and in less than an hour, and I don't want to be up to date yet. It's gonna make me really sad when I have to wait ages for a new volume. So I'm trying to drag out the experience. This is, if you're unaware, this is a graphic novel about these 2 boys, Nick and Charlie, as they just have a very wholesome relationship, and they come to terms with their sexuality and dealing with their sexuality and coming out whilst they're in high school, and it's just very cute and normal life-esque, and it just brightens my entire day. I love Nick and Charlie so much. They bring me out of any kind of bad day that I'm having, and I just wish that I had all of the Nick and Charlie content in the world. I actually enjoyed this one more than the first one. Like, I gave this a 5 star and I gave the first one a 4 star. I guess I was in the perfect mood for this when I read it, and I just found it really sweet. And so then the next 4 star read of the month of February was From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I started reading this whilst I was live over on my friend Rachel's channel for some reading sprints, And if any of you guys saw that live sprint, then you will have just seen me grinning from ear to ear the entire time I was reading this. It made me so much happier than I thought it would to read this. So this is like a high fantasy romance about our main character Poppy, and she has been chosen as this maiden. This society thinks that she was chosen by the gods to protect them, save them, blah blah blah. And so she's basically trapped and imprisoned so that she can stay safe, so that she can do whatever it is she's supposed to do when she reaches the right age. However, there's a load of like political tensions, and there's a bit of a coup happening, and so Poppy's guardians bring in Hawk, who is supposed to protect her from the leader of the rebellion who's trying to capture her. It all goes a bit wrong, really. The only reason I didn't give this a 5-star is because it just didn't feel like a 5-star to me. 5-star books just give me a feeling, and this had everything going for it except for that feeling, and I very much appreciate that my mental health could have been a reason for that. So maybe I will have to reread it at some point. But I loved this so much, and I'm so excited to read the second one because I've heard that this one is even better. Everyone on my Twitter was telling me that I should get on this straight away, and I will, I promise. Also, if you guys have seen my Truth or Dare book tag, you'll know that one of the dares I had to do was to write myself a note on a sticky note and put it into a book, and I decided to put it into this book, and lo and behold, I put a sticker in here that said, "Are you happy you did this to yourself?" Because I thought, at this point, it's like the 80% mark. I was like, everything's probably gone wrong, I'm probably going to be crying, people will be dying, you know, something like that. But no, there was a really intense sexual scene, and I turned the page and it just said, "Are you happy you did this to yourself?" So I think that was absolutely perfect placement from myself. It made me laugh so much when I turned the page and I saw that, because I'd completely forgot that I'd put the post-it note in here. I just particularly enjoyed the flirty, banterous relationship in this. I love relationships that when I'm reading their dialogue, it is just making me giggle and grin. And it's just banter, and it's back and forth, and they're making fun of each other, and it's not all soppy. Soppy romances aren't really for me anymore. I'm looking at you, Twilight. It wouldn't have killed Stephanie Meyer to put some humour in those books. And I really loved the relationship that these two had, and it ended on such a cliffhanger, and I cannot wait to jump into the next one. It's just really daunting how big these books are. And so the next book that I read, I also gave a 4 stars, and that is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I have had very little luck with Naomi Novik books in the past. I genuinely think Spinning Silver is one of the worst books I've ever read, but I really enjoyed this, and I have seen so many people complain about this book and think it was awful, but I really enjoyed it. So this is essentially about a demon school, and if you have these powers, then you just get spawned, essentially, into this demon school one day, and there's no teachers, there's no professors, the school itself teaches you, and there's loads of demons that live in the walls, and so they might just attack you at some point, and so you have to kill them. And most people don't make it out of the school alive because the demons will kill them whilst they're there. And so this is about our main character dealing with this school, making alliances, dealing with school drama. It's not particularly plot driven. I can't tell you that there's a key thread of plot line throughout it. It's just about this magical girl at this very, very beautifully written and well-built magic school, and random things occur that do kind of lead to a climax, and you can see how there's going to be other books, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the world building of the school was beautiful. I do wish that there had been a little bit more explanation of things at times, like some of the power dynamics and how their powers work was a little bit unclear at times, but the more I read, the more it did make sense. But in the beginning of the book, I was kind of confused. However, I also do think I would have complained if it was info dumpy, so I feel like this book couldn't really win on that point, especially with me. And I really enjoyed it. I will definitely be picking up future books in this series. I really want to know what happens. Again, this book ended on a cliffhanger, and I want to know what happens. What I particularly liked about this book is all of the relationships were very tentative. It really did feel like you were in a situation where you couldn't really trust anyone, but you needed to depend on people to survive. And it felt that way as our main characters started to make friendships and alliances and build other relationships. They all felt very tentative and you couldn't get too deeply invested in them. I would normally hate that. Like if I was reading a romance book and all of the relationships felt tentative, I wouldn't understand the point. But for this setting, it really, really worked. And so then the final book that I read in the month of February was To Kill a Kingdom. Again, I gave this 4 stars and enjoyed it so much more than everyone's reviews led me to believe that I would. This is essentially a Little Mermaid retelling, but make it dark. So this is about Lyra, and she is a siren, and she is ordered by her mum, the Siren Queen, to go and steal the heart of a prince every single birthday. That is what the sirens do. On their birthday, they go and steal the heart of a sailor. But Lyra is known as the Prince's Bane, and she only targets princes. And then we have our prince, whose name I really can't pronounce, and he is on a mission to, he's like a siren hunter, and he desperately wants to kill the Prince's Bane and the Queen of the Sirens altogether so that men can just be free to sail the waters. Lyra is forced by the Siren Queen to have legs and go aboard this pirate adventure and try to kind of mess up the prince's plans and stop him from being able to defeat the sirens. And it was so enjoyable. I had no interest in reading this book when I thought it was about mermaids, and as soon as I found out there was a pirate element, I was all in. I will say the definition of pirate is a little bit loose. I mean, he's a prince after all, not really a pirate, and it wasn't that big of a plot driver, the fact that they are pirates. But I still enjoyed the setting. I still thought it was so fun. Yeah, it was just exactly what I needed. Also, it's just such a floppy paperback, which always makes reading fun. I don't know about you, but the way a book is bound makes it so much more fun to read for me. And I would say if you are interested in checking this book out, even the tiniest bit, then do so, because I think you're going to enjoy it a lot more than you think you will. And it was just a really, really fun read. And apparently I'm now back into retellings because this was great. And so these are the 5 books that I read in the month of February. There wasn't a single book that was less than a 4 stars, so I can't really complain. Even though my reading was much slower this month, at least it was really enjoyable, so I can't be too mad at myself. Do let me know how your reading challenge is going, how your reading is going in general. If you've read any of these books or you're interested in any of them, do please let me know down in the comments and we can have a discussion about it. It would be very fun for me to discuss some books. I love doing it. Thank you guys very much for watching, especially if you made it this far. If you did, then you must like something about this channel, so why not hit that big red subscribe button down below and check out some of my other videos. As I said before, there is no shortage of bookish content on this channel. It is at least once a week, so you know, that's a lot of bookish content in a whole year. Thank you guys for watching and sticking around and bearing with my crazy schedule. I do hope that you enjoyed. I absolutely love wrap-ups, so I hope that this was fun for you, and I will see you next week for my next video. Bye guys.